Hello, ladies and gentlemen. May I warmly welcome you to our look back at a quarter of a millennium of Villeroy Boch. I'm pleased to note your interest in this company, to whose founders my ancestors belong. My name is Villeroy Boch. The history of Villeroy Boch is something quite fascinating. There is very little quite like it in the European economic history. I hope, therefore, that a little of this fascination will also be communicated to you when you watch our film in just a moment. If I may be permitted to make one remark from the very outset. We at Villeroy Boch do not constantly look back to the past. Our sights are directed particularly towards the future. As has often been the case, Villeroy Boch has today reached a point where the future course is to be set. We have prepared ourselves for this future by developing a new concept which incorporates the entire company. We have called it the House of Villeroy Boch. With this concept, we wish to express an extremely high ambition. In future, we shall offer our customers much more than just tableware, tiles, and bathroom equipment. We shall offer interior design, home culture, in a comprehensive sense, by providing a range of goods to which furniture, for example, also belongs. It is our aim to become the #1 address in interior design in the coming years. That is our vision. The experience we have gathered throughout 250 years makes us confident that we shall achieve it. I sincerely hope that you will share our confidence in the future when you now experience the unique history of Villeroy Boch. I naturally also hope that you will enjoy the film.
Welcome to the house of Villeroy and Boch. This magnificent 18th century abbey is the headquarters of the international company Villeroy and Boch, which is celebrating its 250th anniversary. No company as old as this is still in the hands of the original family. The success of Villeroy and Boch is based on a mixture of tradition, art, and ingenuity. 250 years.
The pliability and elegance of the material clay fascinated Francois Boch. He was in fact a skilled iron pounder and an expert in production. After all, he was commissioned to mold cannonballs for the French King Louis XV, and the honorary title of Bombardier du Roi. In 1748, he opened up a pottery in Audun-le-Tiche. First of all, he produced pots and jugs. But after a short time, he was also making ornate ceramic objects. The most talented of his sons was Pierre, who was, at that time, just 11 years old.
Très bien. Bien.
Now we come to the year 1766. Catherine the Great, Frederick the Great Empress Maria Theresia, and Voltaire were active in a ferment of intellectual power. In other words, precisely the right time for Pierre-Joseph Boch and his two brothers to take their first action. They turned the pottery into a factory. Pierre-Joseph Boch acquired a production site in Septfontaine in Luxembourg, which, in the quicksands of Europe, was a missile of Austria. He consequently sought recognition by the Austrian crown as its protector. In 1767, he and his two brothers were summoned into the presence of the ministry.
Pierre-Joseph Boch was just 30 years old in 1767 when he was awarded the title of Royal Manufacturer. He is considered as the family man with the best entrepreneurial skills. His artistic talent was equal to his business sense in all areas. However, he never lost his ability to consider an individual object in its own right. After being awarded the title of Royal Manufacturer for his new plant in Septfontaine, Pierre-Joseph Boch succeeded in opening up new markets. He established trade relations with Holland, Belgium, and the north of France. He had his own warehouses in Brussels and Beaumont, but the traffic routes were unsafe and in poor condition, which often led to poverty and delivery. He took part in all the large trade fairs of the age, and during the period of particularism, Pierre-Joseph Boch operated on a European scale. Within a short period, the number of employees grew from 20 to 300. Pierre-Joseph Boch sent his son Jean-François to Paris to study chemistry. However, Jean-François was also interested in other practical sciences. For example, using water power to rotate potter's wheels, that would result in the products becoming considerably cheaper. Pierre-Joseph Boch was certainly proud of his talented son, although he did have problems with this occasionally.
In 1809, Jean-François Boch and his father bought the former Benedictine Abbey in Metz. The citizens of that little town were not very pleased. They would not now have the possibility of sheltering their livestock in the abbey. So at night they walked through the vaults of the abbey, disguised as ghosts, rattling chains, a vain hope. True to their motto, never give up, never say die, the Bochs were not impressed by those who gave every appearance of having died, even if they had not yet quite given up. Things were going very well for the house of Boch. Not far away from Mettlach, in Wallerfangen, lived another ceramics manufacturer named Nicolas Villeroy. He had the same entrepreneurial enthusiasm and social commitment as Jean-François Boch, and it was just a question of time before they met, over a glass of wine. Jean-François Boch also traded in fine wine.
1836, the amalgamation took place. A strong new business was created, uniting the best traditions of the two founding families. From that time onwards, the company has ranked among the best ceramic manufacturers in Europe and the rest of the world. Increased. In addition to ceramic dishes and utensils, the company has started to produce crystal glasses and bowls. In 1841, when Luxembourg came under Dutch rule, Villeroy and Boch were in danger of losing their important Belgian market. However, the company was strong enough to be able to build a new plant in Belgium. Villeroy and Boch has become a European organization.
The two families have joined forces. In 1836, Boch and Villeroy founded Villeroy and Boch. And what about Octavie and Olga? The pebble, remember? Well, Cupid's armory is not exclusively made up of arrows.
Eugen von Boch takes over the management of the firm. He creates the conditions for the company to meet the requirements of rapid industrial and economic change. But at the same time, he preserves the artistic side of the business. He opens up the company's own school of drawing and the ceramic museum.
The Villeroy and Boch company now faced a new challenge, the coming of the railway. Eugen von Boch very soon realized the importance of this new invention. He started planning a railway link to Mittelach as early as 1848. I no longer smoke, I've just been given this with a shot, but I remember, I can imagine very well what it was like.
Being connected to the railway brought an enormous advantage to the company. Now the warehouses could be supplied continuously, which meant that goods were on constant offer.
Ever been to Rome? Well, obviously. To draw rose leaves. Well, in that case, you must have seen a few mosaics. The Romans loved them, and they're even found very far away from Rome. It was back in 1852, if I remember rightly, that about 10 kilometers from here, one of these mosaics was dug up. Oh, hello. Here's another one. Just as far from Rome.
The tessellated floor in Nenich is the most important and most beautiful north of the Alps. However, at the time of its discovery, only parts of it had been preserved. What could have been more fitting than to commission the ceramic manufacturer Villeroy and Boch with its restoration? The knowledge which was gained during the restoration of the Roman mosaic from Nenich gave Eugen Boch reason to establish a mosaic factory in the 1870s. Tile production had already started before the mosaic factory was opened. In the beginning, tiles were laid in hospitals and public baths for reasons of hygiene. However, They soon became an expression of the artistic spirit of the times. According to the Guinness Book of Records, the most beautiful dairy in the world, which is in Dresden, was designed by Villeroy Boch. Tile production, tableware, and ceramic sanitary products are considered the three main divisions of the company.
For a long time, this was presumed to be the only portrait commission ever received by Van Gogh. The sitter was Eugène Boch, and apart from its artistic qualities, it was also an excellent likeness. Eugène Boch and his sister Anna were artists in their own right. She exhibited in the company of Monet, Van Gogh, and Toulouse-Lautrec, quite apart from designing for Villeroy Boch.
Prizes awarded at exhibitions in Paris, Philadelphia, and Chicago encouraged Eugène Boch to promote and develop artistic talent. In 1870, Eugène Boch set up a school of drawing and brought well-known artists to Metlar. Villeroy and Boch developed their own unmistakable style. Until well into the 20th century, Anna Boch formed the artistic image of Villeroy and Boch with her designs. The shaving set of King Louis II of Bavaria. He had the facade of his castle Herrenchiemsee designed with another of Villeroy and Boch's products, terracotta from Metlar. The highly aesthetic aspect and durability of this building material made it so popular that entire facades were ordered by catalogue and sent by Villeroy and Boch even as far as South America. It was not until the 1920s that it lost in importance.
We're now in the 20th century, the age of speed.
Around the turn of the century, Villeroy and Boch started another sector of ceramic production, the manufacture of ceramic sanitary fittings. Product demand rose as people became increasingly aware of the significance of hygiene for their health. Ceramic sanitary fittings became one of the three main production sectors of Villeroy and Boch.
During the 20th century, a great deal had been destroyed or lost irrevocably. After the First World War, for a short period of time, the nation seemed on the way to settling their differences. At the Villeroy and Boch headquarters in the Saar region, the League of Nations set up a commission. Alfred von Boch became member of this commission. Soldiers from member countries contributed to an international peacekeeping force. It was a time of careless festivity, one last dance before the return to chaos, which was still to come.
The 1920s and 30s were overshadowed by the Great Depression. Villeroy and Boch were able to maintain their leading position in the ceramic industry, but they had to suffer setbacks. But things were to get worse.